back. LB Magic, episode 4.
How are you?
I'm good. How you going?
Yeah, good.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about our dating story and how we met and the dating apps we'll go into, as well as some stories.
Yeah, it's kind of a 2024 thing, isn't it?
Mm,
To date online. It's pretty common.
yeah, it is.
So, how did we meet?
We also met on a dating app,
We did. What was our app of choice?
Hinge,
It was.
for professionals, I think. A lot of professionals go on Hinge.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Why did you go on Hinge?
I went on Hinge because one of my mates had just separated from his partner, and we're at the footy, and he sort of said, "Oh."
Oh, you wrote that yourself.
They actually kept telling me, "Oh, don't say that, don't say that,"
Yeah.
which
What
was
were you
funny.
saying that they were saying? Don't say that.
Just answering all the questions because Hinge sets up prompts for you
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you load, and I was just answering every single question.
Every single question.
Yeah.
That must be a record. I don't see anyone with. I try to answer as least as possible.
It sums us up pretty well, doesn't it? So that's what they were saying. Like, just get it on there and just say a few things. But I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to trust that the algorithms they've built over however many thousands of people are on this app.
Don't you think you lose people once you write too many things? People are going to read all of these things about you. So an essay, dating is like quick and easy. You like someone, you swipe. You like someone, you swipe.
I was only after one person.
Of
I was
course you
happy.
are.
I was happy to narrow the field
Yeah.
as much as possible for one person. That's why I was on there. I wasn't on there to have multiple people to date. That's just not
Yeah.
what I was
Yeah.
interested in at all. So I felt like the more honest I was and the more information I gave, the more that the algorithms and the systems and whatever is behind the scenes on these programs, which are obviously like quite sophisticated, would help me find a good person, my person.
Yeah. No, but your profile didn't end up being that many words, from
No,
what I
what
remember.
what got presented, you could select in and out of what got
Oh, right.
presented.
Okay.
So I think I just, highlighted a few key things to put up, but I gave the system like quite a lot.
All right.
Mm.
Okay.
Anyway, that's how it happened. It was completely unplanned.
Yeah.
Had no intention of that night going in to be on a dating app. In fact, I invited my young mate out who I haven't been out with since and don't really socialize with.
Yeah.
He happened to be leaving my team, and
Yeah.
I decided to invite him out. So yeah.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you're single anyway. You reconnect with people that you may not have, had a strong connection with when you were together because of the limiting time factor.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think I had more time on my hands,
Yeah.
so I had more things to do, and I was thinking about what I was going to do at that time, and yeah, spending time with friends at the football was one of those things.
Yeah.
So shout out to Nick Pert for helping me set up the app and recommending it. He sort of made the comment on the night that what's the main one that everyone uses?
Tinder.
Tinder. Yeah, he sort of said everyone's shifting away from Tinder a little bit, and
Yeah.
Hinge was the new
Yeah.
profile.
I think there's a lot of people on Tinder. You get all sorts of people on Tinder. Hinge is a bit more professional.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're both different, completely different.
Yeah. So what's your experience with Tinder compared to Hinge?
Tinder, a lot of different types of people. I find that Hinge is a bit more professional in
Okay.
terms of people a bit more professionally minded. Everyone is a director on Hinge.
Everyone's a director, yeah. CEO,
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
founder, and CEO.
Managing director, yes. Um, and Tinder was just, yeah. Tinder, I think you can get away with writing less. Like there's no prompts for you to answer. You can just there are prompts, but it's not necessary to answer those. Whereas Hinge, you have to, have a certain number of photos up, or have a certain number of prompts, whereas Tinder's like,
Okay.
just do what you want.
Yeah. Did you use any other apps like
Oh, I use Bumble,
RSVP or
yes, Bumble. I use the three, Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, only because I think that they were all very different to each other, but Bumble was the one that I liked the least
okay.
because, well, Bumble is known for the women makes the first move.
All right. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Okay.
so we have to like you, and then you like us, and then we have to initiate the conversation. Or you can like us, and then we like you, but we have to initiate the conversation.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, you're gonna have to say something if you like them.
So it didn't suit you at all.
Yeah, no, it didn't suit me at all. I want them to make the move, not me.
Yeah.
But it's like the modern way of dating, where women,
Yeah, a bit more empowering for
yeah,
women, isn't it? It's
exactly.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So it suits some people, but yeah, I mean, I'm still very traditional.
Yeah, you are. What other experiences can you tell us about your like dating? Do you want to tell us about your dating experience on the apps?
I think
Successes, failures?
maybe at the start I really didn't know what I wanted, so my profile was very general, and I would put very generic comments like, what's your idea of relaxation? Hanging out at the beach, like everyone else's.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really tailored to who I was looking for. I guess because I didn't know what I was looking for. And then as you go on, you learn from all those experiences and what you want. And yeah, in the end, I quit all the apps
Yeah, right.
except Hinge. I left Hinge open, and yeah, it's just I left it open just because in case someone was to match with me, I'd connect with them. But yeah, I was not really. Yeah, I wasn't even looking. It got to the point where I was like, "I've given up on this, so I'll just work on myself."
That's probably actually a really good way to attract someone into your life.
Yeah, when you're least expecting it, or when you're not looking for the person.
Yeah, and doing the work on yourself to
Yeah,
make yourself the kind of person who
you
would
would want to
attract,
date.
yeah, the kind of person you want to date, the kind of person who would attract the kind of person that you would want to spend time with.
Yeah, that's right.
And, I think you did a lot of good work on yourself with your life coaching and
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, you do too.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I started, yeah,
So why didn't so why didn't she want to join the apps? Or what was I guess, the stigma behind the apps that you
well, to me, wasn't so much the apps or the technology. I was comfortable with technology,
Yep.
but for me, relationships meant pain.
Mm,
I, yeah, my last two relationships just ended badly.
mm-hmm.
And while they had a lot of joy throughout, you know, I think the mind remembers the most recent events
Yeah.
and they were pretty bad. So I wasn't really thinking about dating. I was just happy to be myself and work on myself and
Yeah.
had my own place and my own space
Yeah.
and was really comfortable with who I was and what I was doing. Uh,
Yep.
yeah,
And then did you then think that you needed to risk the pains in order to gain happiness or a
I'm
higher level of happiness?
not sure. I'm not sure if I consciously even thought about it.
Mm,
Honestly, it was Nick's encouragement that just put it out there.
mm-hmm.
And then I actually set up like a WhatsApp chat with Nick and Jimmy who were out that night.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'll send you photos and I'll show you who likes my profile. And we'll kind of group date this thing, right? And
So it
make
was a
fun out
group
of it.
project.
It was a group project.
Right.
And then, and for the first couple of days,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, haha, look at this girl. This one's like me. That one likes me. And, commenting on them as a group. But then I started chatting with somebody, Jess. And Jess was being really open with me and sharing things about herself. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable sharing this with other people anymore.
Yeah.
So I shut down that chat because this felt like kind of
Yeah.
intimate and really
Yeah.
a relationship shouldn't be a group project.
Yeah.
A relationship really should be just two people working together. And yeah, that I think from my perspective, having a chat with someone like that and opening them up and sharing a bit about myself made me think, why not? Maybe we'll just see where it goes. Like, I'm not in any hurry here. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's how I approached it later. Um, just trying to enjoy the dating and the experience that came with it. Just meeting new people, I guess, because I was on a growth journey. I was open to meeting people
Yeah,
and getting to know their story. Whereas before it was like, oh, would this person be a good match for me? And thinking more carefully about, what future would look like. Whereas, later on I was just like, okay, this person sounds interesting. Let's just, hear what they've been through and see if we connect. Yeah, but there was no expectation at all, really. And like you mentioned, the algorithm, it was later that I discovered that I needed to narrow my search criteria. So it wasn't just relaxing at the beach anymore. It was, personal development. Someone who's like, really into that sort of stuff that I was into at the time.
and
And
funnily enough, that's what attracted me to your profile.
what did you say?
My first comment was, you had what am I into sort of this prompt, and it was personal growth, or what am I looking for in a partner,
Yeah.
and I was like, sign me up. That was how I
Yeah,
initiated.
and I was on that phase where I just did not care about the dating apps, and I didn't respond to you at all.
Is that right?
I didn't respond.
Oh, you just clicked like yes, you clicked okay for the
Yes,
match thing, right?
yes, okay, yes.
So all of a sudden your profile
Yeah,
pops
yeah,
up as a match, but
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
actually say
No, I
anything.
didn't. No, I didn't. That happens to me quite a bit. It was more like window shopping.
Yeah, yeah, I found actually quite a few did that
Yeah, right.
that I initiated with. Yeah, so after that first conversation with Jess, I started like getting interested, and I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay. And then every day the Hinge app pops up your best matches,
Oh, yeah, some of them are not
and then
like you look at them
no
and you're
good.
like, oh, it's like, how is this the person that's most compatible with me? I didn't
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah. Well, funnily enough, I found the best matches to be quite good.
Oh, right, okay.
Maybe because I took the time to fill out the survey. So anyway, I think I even bought roses one day because I didn't have enough to send out to a couple of
No,
different
you
people.
didn't send me a rose.
Yeah,
I got a photo.
you weren't in that section.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
only in that section that you could.
No, you can send roses to anyone,
Oh, I
I
didn't know
think.
how to do
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Sorry, my bad. I'm blind
I
from
don't
roses.
I don't like sending roses actually because it looks like I'm a bit too keen on them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
funnily enough, I don't think I've got any matches. Maybe one match out of these four roses that I
Oh,
sent.
yeah. Because the
So
roses are the ones that are most popular, I think.
yeah, the algorithm's throwing up
Yeah,
the
that
best
they're
of
getting
them.
a lot of matches or a
Yeah,
lot of connection.
yeah. So then there was another girl called Jessie after
Mhm.
Jess, and yeah, we started chatting, and I think she was a psychologist, and we started talking, got along, and then yeah, for whatever reason, she just ghosted me.
That happens a lot
Yeah,
because there's so many options out there that people, will chat to everyone and then slowly as they develop a better connection with someone, maybe,
yeah,
and they,
yeah. She
or
went
it's
on
just,
another date.
yeah, or just a different phase as well. Maybe
In fact, I did
everyone,
the exact same thing, like to someone else. Like I was in the middle of a chat, and she rode motorbikes, and
yeah,
we were organising a road trip,
yeah.
and then we had our first date, and I deleted the app.
Okay.
So I never got back to her. So I ghosted her as well. But it just felt wrong to be on the apps after our first date because, yeah, I was pretty keen on you. And you actually closed your profile down as well.
I closed my profile because I was like, I wasn't into it. I didn't want to, you know, I guess I put myself out there, but I wasn't fully committed to dating. So I was just like, I'll just close it because I'm not 100% invested in it. Uh, and I don't know. I thought our date was pretty good, and like I had no attachments. If we dated again, or if we didn't date, yeah. So it was, and I'm very much a traditionalist, so I let the guy, kind of lead in that section.
Yeah, that's interesting because when I saw that you'd got off the profile after
Yeah,
our first date,
yeah.
I took that as a really good sign.
Oh, really?
Things are going really
Oh,
well.
good.
Turns out that wasn't the case.
I'm glad you took it as a good sign.
So yeah, so that was when I got off the app as well. So there was only one other person that I
Oh, yeah, I
saw.
encourage you to date around.
You did, yeah. At our screen test when we caught up at the sauna, you sort of said to me like, "Oh, you should see what's out there," because you
Yeah,
asked me how many people I've been dating. I'm like, "You're the first person that I've
yeah. I
dated."
was like, I can't believe I'm the first person you dated. Go and get out there and see what's out there. And, because I told you that I didn't want to settle, and I wanted you to not settle as well, basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was
just
interesting.
see what's out there and see what's best, do what's best for you.
Yeah, yeah, it was encouraging. So I did do that. But were you dating multiple people at once?
No.
Yeah.
You mean previously or when I was
Well, previously or
previously? It's hard for me to do that because once you have a conversation going with someone, it's really hard to then put the same sort of energy in someone else.
yeah.
Like I was still chatting to people, I guess, but it was
Mm.
kind of dying down. And it wasn't really new connections, it was just existing connections
Mm.
that I had like if I go on a date and I had existing connections, then I'd continue on
And
chatting.
that's kind of what happened to me
Yeah.
after you said go and explore, see what's out there. I already had an existing chat that had
Yeah.
got to the point where it was kind of almost time to meet.
Mm,
So
mm.
I just very like our sauna date, it was more like a screen test. It was a quick chat at a cafe for a piece of cheesecake. So and this girl's name was Jessica.
Mm.
So I went from Jess to Jessie to Jessica. I don't know why that happened. It seems strange. They all felt like stepping stones that I did learn a little something from
Oh
the
yeah, you
experience.
learn, yeah. With even if it's a bad experience, you learn something about yourself and you learn lessons from it that like for me, like I mentioned to you, I was pretty good at these screen tests or these first dates because I just found them so very similar to each other. It's almost like going for a job interview. You talk about the same sort of things. What do you like doing? Your past relationships.
So your strike rate for second dates was really good.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. I remember I asked you for a second date on the first date, and you said yes.
Well, I always give people second chances as well.
Oh, so it was terrible first date. Good to know.
It was a good first date. It just felt easy. Easy.
Yeah, we flowed into conversation pretty quickly. You started talking about your life and your life
Mm.
outside of work and
Mm.
developments, what you're interested in, plus your podcasts and your personal growth
Podcast.
stuff.
Oh, yes,
The
yes.
stuff you
Not this
listen to, right?
podcast.
No, 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 definitely not. You're doing one, but like Lewis Howes and how you like to listen to
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
And you were like, I told you about Rob Dial, and then you actually knew who he was, which was like a shock to
Were you
me.
surprised?
Very surprised. Very surprised. Now I'm doing his business builder course.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No, his podcast is pretty good.
yeah, Mindset Mentor, it's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you were on your path to being a life coach.
Well, I was, but I didn't know I was.
Yeah,
Like like I said, I think previously I'd done some coaching things in my normal
yeah,
profession,
yeah.
uh, but I had this idea in my head, this kind of feeling that I wanted to do more of that.
Mm.
And I didn't know whether that was going to be internal with the organization I work for or whether I would do it, as a business, as a side hustle. But one conversation with you, and here we are 3 weeks later, I've got a podcast and I'm in a business builder course and
It's really taking massive action
yeah, just taking action.
within such a short period of time.
You inspired me.
Yeah, I felt like I really did inspire you. It was from my high energy that I was vibrating at when I was doing life coaching, and I just came out of a networking event where I met like incredible people. I felt like it was almost like divine timing.
It was. And we talked about a project for a childcare centre that you're working on.
Yeah, yeah,
I have friends who are in childcare and they're looking at building a new
yeah.
centre. Or,
I don't know,
yeah.
this childcare centre proposal just popped up out of nowhere. And, it's not something I've looked into in the past. It just landed on my lap and it was a focal point of our conversation.
It was. It really gave us something to kind of relate on.
Yeah, it did. which is good because, talking about purpose and passion and all of that, it's really inspiring to listen to other people and how they've come to build what they've achieved.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, and my friends are inspiring as well. They've got two childcare centres and, running an amazing business. They really care about their kids. And yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Els Bells, early learning centres. Fantastic campus, family-run business. Yeah, it's really nice. And I think, yeah, it was divine timing, like you said. Okay, we had just two or three things that we really clicked on early.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I mentioned that I was quite spiritual and attending monasteries and meditating. And you
That
seemed
really
interested in that as
that
well.
really drew my heartstrings. Huh? And that wasn't something that you really wanted to open up about because you thought it was dorky or you thought it would.
Yeah. I think you said something like, so you go to the monastery every Saturday? Like, when it felt like, maybe you didn't say it like that, but it felt like that.
Oh, did I?
I was
Sorry.
like, oh no, like I got other things I do. Like, when I can make it, I make it. But basically was going every Saturday other than like
Yeah, that's
social
so
events and
cool.
stuff.
Yeah, really, really like that. Yeah, no, it was a really easy flowing conversation, and we met at the sauna, which is like really not where you usually take someone on a first
It isn't.
date.
No. So how did we merge that we ended up at a sauna?
Because I was so not invested as much. I was like, oh, you knew that I would go to the sauna and I like going
It was on
to.
my profile as well, right?
Oh, yes, it was on your profile. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
I
it
do.
was on my. Yeah, I said sauna, did I? My way to unwind. I like the
I
sauna
think so.
and meditation.
And I think we chatted about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, so I said I will be at the sauna, or I might be at the sauna, and then you said, okay, we'll meet you there. And what happened?
You were 20 minutes late.
I think I was 40 minutes late.
You were 20 minutes late when I messaged you, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm just 20 minutes away. Sorry.
The 20 minutes became 30 minutes,
Yeah.
I
Then
think. And then
you said you did message me back and said, oh look, just go for a swim and I'll see you in the sauna later. So it
yeah,
wasn't
I was
overly,
so
but I was like,
casual.
I was kind of like
Oh,
checking
yes, yes.
like a little bit when you were 15 minutes late. So what happened? Why were you so late?
Oh, I was the night before I had to go into emergency, so it was a late night for me, and I don't often get to sleep in. So that day was a good chance for me to sleep in because I was like,
I thought you were going to
so
say,
many plans.
I thought you were going to say the hospital when you were like really held up, but it
Oh,
wasn't. You just wanted some more sleep.
well, the hospital did
Make it a late night.
make it a late night, and then I also wanted to get a bit of sleep in the morning because
That's
that doesn't happen very often for me.
and you really weren't invested at all. Eh?
Yeah, I wasn't really invested,
Like
but
you turned the apps off, you just had this one going, like you
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
invested so far. But then after our first conversation, and you were quite interested in coming to the monastery and having a second date, how did you feel coming out of it,
out of the monastery.
out of the screen test?
Out of the screen test. I felt good. I mean, I felt like, you had, you ticked a lot of my boxes.
I was really excited because I was so inspired by the way you were. You basically sold me the dream becoming a life coach
I,
because you were getting coaching
I,
and you were so inspired by what
I
your
should
coach
have,
was doing for you.
yeah, I should have, sold myself as your own life coach.
I would have paid you $1,000 a month, easy.
You didn't need to do Rob Dial. You just go through my program.
So when
Yeah,
do you launch your program?
don't launch my program. It's your program now.
Thank you. Appreciate
And
that. I'll take your wisdom on board and I'll
yes,
share it with like
yes.
my clients.
You've got a lot of wisdom to share yourself, so you'll make an amazing coach. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to read and digest information, so I'm hoping
Yes.
that puts me in a good position.
Yes.
I've also been working with Tony Robbins material for over 20 years.
Yeah, we had a lot in common. I mean, I was reading a lot of books as well, and we were sharing some of our insights in our books and podcasts. Um,
Yeah, we gave each other a lot of podcasts to
to
listen to
listen
early
to,
days,
you
right?
messaged me a whole summary of this podcast, all the podcasts that you're listening to. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like an interesting podcast. I'll listen to it with your summary.
Like
Yeah,
some of the ones that we've, like Lewis Howes we've mentioned, who's
yeah,
doing
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I love the Huberman Lab.
Yes.
He's brilliant. And there's so many various topics. It's mainly science-based health and well-being, but goes beyond all of that as well.
Yeah.
Psychology,
Yes.
finding your purpose, lots of
And then
fantastic material.
I introduced you to Joe Spencer,
Oh,
the
Joe
meditation.
Spencer, he's amazing.
Yes.
Space, going
Yes.
into the
Yes. Yes.
going to the field,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
drawing energy basically from the universe to almost like it's kind of like manifestation, but
Yeah.
creating your own destiny, being a creator for your own life. And he has these amazing like guided meditations.
It's just easy to listen to if you're starting off with meditation, and you've been you're an experienced meditator, whereas I had only just started meditating.
You have a daily meditation practice.
I do have, yes, yes, but only implemented in 2024, so
Yeah,
not as
yeah. I probably started around 2019 with my daily practice. I use the Calm app as a just a 10-minute meditation, and then that was with Tamara Levitt. And then I started on the second one, which is called the Daily Trip. And then there was another one called Daily J with Jay Shetty.
yeah.
So I ended up doing about 30 minutes of
Mm.
these guided meditations every morning while I was at the gym, just stretching and warming up. Yeah, I built my meditation practice from there, turned it now into a daily practice, and
Such a good practice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really beneficial.
Anything else you want to say on the dating apps?
I don't have that much experience with dating apps. I loaded it up 2 weeks later. I met the love
Yes.
of my life, and here we are. And I'll never go on them again. So there's not much more to say.
I think it's more commonly used now as a way to find a partner. Back then, it had a bit more stigma around it,
Yeah,
especially around Tinder.
we did speak to our friends, didn't we, David and Lisa,
Yeah,
about their story as well, and they had a bit of a nice story as well around dating apps and finding love.
yeah.
They've been together a lot longer than we have.
And they started using the dating apps probably 10 years prior to us using it.
They did, yeah,
So it was a lot different back then.
yeah. Tell us a
Um,
little bit about their story.
so this is from Dave's perspective. So he had only lived in Melbourne a little over a year when he found himself single again. And about 2 years prior to that, he began wearing his wedding ring on the right hand, the sign of a divorce.
Yeah, it's not a great sign.
Yeah. So for him, it was a symbol that his relationship was over and he was just looking for the right time to leave. And prior to his separation, being pretty much a stay-at-home dad with 2 kids. He's also studying accounting at university through was what was called distance learning. The internet had been around for a while at the time, but there wasn't really online courses and that we have today.
Yeah, so had a pretty full agenda.
Oh, two
Kids,
kids studying.
work, like trying to
Doesn't it
find
sound familiar to you?
does. Very familiar. Yeah, very familiar.
So fortunately, the catalyst for the separation happened shortly after when he got his degree and then found a reasonably paying job. So, yeah. Then he was all alone. So he had now probably a career and in the field that he wants to do, but all alone
Another accountant.
with 2 kids at the age of 5 and 12. No friends and no money, only because he just got to Melbourne.
Mm.
And then he got back into dating fairly quickly. I guess when you're alone and you have more time, you think about yourself. So he wasn't sure he let why he let himself be alone for a while. So, but he was lonely, and I think that while he thinks that he knew that there was a lot to offer, he had a lot to offer someone, and still had the dreams of trying to truly fulfill the relationship with someone else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think it's hard when men separate. Probably not gets a lot spoken about that. Obviously, women it's hard as well, and often get like a lot of the time with the kids as well.
yeah, I think a lot of times you find that the men move on much faster than the women because women, I find when a separation happens, like I find that the woman is more the primary caretaker
Yeah.
and would look after the kids. The men will, see the kids every now and then, but then still have the time to I guess, discover themselves, whereas women, put their kids first, and then maybe if they've got a bit of time, then discover who
It's
they
not
are.
it's not as big a change in their lifestyle. For
Yeah,
example, like
yeah,
when
because
I
of
now have my own house and I don't see the kids that much, it changes your lifestyle a lot.
mm,
And it sounds like for Dave, that situation
mm.
was pretty similar. Yeah.
So at the time there were no apps when he started dating, and the first phone had just been released.
The first apps, the
The
first phone.
first phone. So
Oh, we're talking about
Dave, yeah,
2017
yeah,
or something.
yeah. So the websites were still very prominent.
Yeah.
So you had to look at multiple dating sites, and I think at the time RSVP, like Hinge, I don't know when that came out, but probably not during his time. But he used RSVP.
Do you have any experience with RSVP?
No, I didn't. That's a paid dating app,
Okay.
and if you're serious about dating, I would recommend that you use paid dating apps because you'll find people who are equally as committed to dating because
Yeah, makes sense.
they're paid for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you make a financial investment in something,
Yeah, you're good.
it shows that you're going to take action.
So, but we talked about like Tinder and Hinge. There's a lot more dating apps out there. Like if you're religious and you want someone who's also religious, there's also religious apps out there that you could connect.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what they are, but there are.
Yeah, I'm sure people can find them. Yeah.
Um, so it was scary for him after being married for a number of years with the thought of going on a real date, like, first time dating in how many years?
Can definitely relate to that. Yeah.
But it was also exciting. Were you excited?
Very, very exciting. I mean, you're into personal growth, so I wanted to know what that story was.
All right,
Okay.
okay.
Little did I know, like, you were into a lot of the same stuff I was, and you were getting life coaching, and I was thinking about becoming a coach. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And really inspired you. So he liked the idea of formally uh like the formality of the dating sites, but being able to look at the bios and then making contact and setting up time. So you're getting to know someone before you actually meet them. And he usually met people over coffee. He liked coming home from work and checking his responses. So just logging in the website and it gave him something to do. And it's also a way of socializing. So
yeah,
that's, I think, during COVID was massive because
yeah.
people couldn't really get out and go
Mm.
on dates. So
I had a similar experience with the app as well. It felt nice when you got connects, like, somebody
likes you.
has liked you or found something in your profile that at least is willing to have a chat.
Mm,
And then the chats can be quite nice as well.
mm.
It did take a bit of time. Like I was screening a lot, looking at a lot, so you can get a bit kind of sucked into that. But it's
It's time,
efficient.
yeah, it's time consuming. Like it
Time
takes.
consuming one way, it is. But then I could have never dated the 200 people that I kind of swiped by, before I chose the five or six that I was interested in.
True.
So
And then also
super efficient.
naturally some of them just fade away because they would ghost you or the conversation just, they lose interest in the conversation.
Yeah, I had a 24-hour rule.
Oh yeah, I had that too. Towards the end, like, when I was not interested in dating, I'm like, if this person doesn't reply in 24 hours, I'm just
Well,
gonna
I
delete
wasn't
them.
interested from the start. So
Uh,
yeah, I would message, and if they were lagging, I'm just like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
like if you're on there and you've said yes, you've accepted the chat,
yeah.
well then chat. If you're not ready to chat, then see you later. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
next.
yeah. Sometimes I did that as well, so I can't really
I got
judge.
delayed.
No, it's just like when someone says hi, I don't reply.
Oh, but that's pretty weak messaging if you're just saying hi.
Oh yeah,
I
well
feel like you got to do it a little bit more than that.
yeah, I felt that I was kind of trying to match their energy. So whatever you gave me, I'd give you like the same sort of
Oh
amount.
boy,
Yeah, I matched your
no wonder
energy.
you had
Yeah.
super high energy then when we met.
Oh, wow. Yes. Even in the chatting wise, I was matching your energy. So if you gave me a bit about yourself, then I'd give a bit about myself. Yeah, it really depends on how the chat went, but
Yeah, I thought we had a good chat too, and I didn't overshare. I felt like maybe with some of the Jesses, I might have overshared a little bit, and
yeah, you learn through
yeah,
each one.
yeah, I
Yeah.
learned through that, and I'm like, look, I'm just going to meet Lan and just see how the conversation goes.
Yeah, usually I don't share too much. It's just very general and generic.
Of course it is.
Um, it's like, how was your weekend? Or what are you doing on your weekend?
Yeah, we had that chat, didn't we?
Yeah, it wasn't anything too serious, like how long have you been single for? Or how many relationships have you been in? What happened in each relationship?
Yeah, I got into some of that stuff with some of the
Um,
other chats. How long
yeah,
have you kids? How long have you been in this relationship? How long have you been separated?
yeah.
What
Leave
do you
that
do
for
work?
yeah, no, even
It's
work.
nicer that that came out just in the flow of
Yeah,
conversation over
yeah.
time.
Sometimes if they ask me what I do for work, I'll tell them and then I'll, ask them back. But I wouldn't be like, oh, what do you do for work?
I don't think they even asked you.
Yeah, I don't
They
think,
didn't you?
yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't think you do. Yeah, which is funny because you had a filter or criteria that the person needed to be professional.
Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't obviously. There's no filter button for that.
Yeah, yeah,
But when I was talking to my mate, I'm like, I really want someone who, is driven and has is career focused and can understand that perspective.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
that's what I found.
So that was interesting that you knew nothing about my career, even though that was what you
Mm,
were looking for.
mm. But at the screen test, that
Yeah,
came out, right?
yeah,
At our
yeah,
first catch up, that's what they were for in my
yeah,
mind. Yeah.
yeah. So back to the story of Dave and Lisa. So they really hit it off very quickly and they met up for coffee across the street from where he was working. And they ended the first meeting by asking if it would be right, if he asked her whether it'd be right if he could give her a call. And they started talking over the phone and meeting
Work day. Nice. Got
once a week.
digits. Got digits in the first day. Well done. Nice job.
Yeah, yeah. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's nice. And
So Lisa had been single for a lot longer than Dave and had met a number of people. So similar case, she probably knew more what she wanted. Most of them she thought were pretty creepy though. Unfortunately, it seemed like it was kind of like that for women out there. So, there's a bit of concerns about women's
yeah,
safety.
Jessica as well said that a little bit too in our
Mm.
that the other person who I
Yep.
catch up with. Um, that yeah, she'd had a few people like say some pretty creepy stuff on first dates. Did you have any experience
No, I
like that?
didn't. I think my experience was because I kind of chatted to them a bit longer before meeting up with them, or like I knew a bit more about them, that it didn't feel like it was creepy, and I felt like the people that I met up with were more aligned to me, and that's why, second date, like I was pretty good on the
Yeah.
first date.
And I think that's probably why I got in the trap of maybe oversharing a little bit because I wanted to make sure if I was going to meet this person and invest time and energy that they were someone who I could relate to and there was a chance of a relationship.
Yeah, but
At the same time,
yeah,
you don't want to overshare.
yeah,
There's not too
exactly.
much, but I think you do have to have a bit of a chat and make sure the vibe is there before you meet.
Yes, yes.
And you can kind of tell. I think you can tell. Yeah, I
Um,
think if you jump into a date too quickly, maybe you get some people that aren't really
yes,
suited. But if you
yes,
chat for long enough
yes.
so you're comfortable, I think that's
Yeah.
probably a good screen test
Well, a lot of
up front.
people like to just meet up very quickly because meeting up with someone is a lot different to chatting to them over the internet because you can't really tell what they're like until you meet up with them. And some people just know within like 5 minutes of chatting to someone. You could spend like a week chatting online and 5 minute coffee date or
Yeah,
small
but then there's
date.
the safety element, isn't there, on the other side of that?
Yeah, but a lot
You
of
probably
people
want to
can.
get to know a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people do phone calls as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, you can do phone calls. You exchange numbers and you give them a call and
that's a good
sounds like
idea.
it.
So before you meet, have
Yes.
a
Yeah.
phone call. That's a great idea. Yeah. So what happened in Dave's story in the end? How did Dave and Lisa end up with their RSVP experience?
So they went on dates once a week and was talking over the phone. Yeah, so most of the women that had coffee were pretty fine from his perspective, but they just didn't click.
Yeah.
And he usually enjoys the conversations. He just didn't want to have another one with it. Like he would enjoy the conversation, but probably doesn't want to extend the date to the next date.
Yeah, well, that was my experience too. So in my 2 weeks of dating experience on Hinge, the three girls that I chatted with and the one other that I met other than mine, or the four, including you, all seemed like really nice people. They just didn't click, or something wasn't quite there, or they found someone else in that time.
Mm.
And it was pretty mutual both ways on all of them.
Yeah, yeah, I think
So,
you both feel it, and
mm,
sometimes you can't really explain what it is that they're missing.
yes,
Just something doesn't feel as right, right?
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
that's right. And I actually realized after I started dating you that I really did need someone who was quite spiritual,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
and I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
But,
didn't know that as well. I didn't know that I needed someone spiritual as well. I think in the past I was just putting up with bad behavior and, you know, buying into excuses
yeah,
because of the fact that I didn't love myself as much. But when I started really embracing myself and really loving myself, I knew what my boundaries were. So back to David and Lisa again. They did click, and it was only a couple of weeks that they became exclusive. They took things pretty slowly, but that's probably from Dave's end because he was a bit gun shy. And then 6 months later, they introduced their kids, so each of them had two kids each, so four kids. And then after a year, they moved within walking distance of her house, and they started to operate as if they were a family. And then 2 years after that, he proposed to her.
ah, Dave, nice brother, nice. And I like Dave worked with me, so I had to sort of share that time with him, and he's a lovely guy. And I think it would have been hard for him to date outside of the apps because of his situation. He was just work and kids, and it was
Yeah.
tough. And
No time to really just go out and network or mingle or have drinks.
and he was a traditional guy, so he was maybe 10 years older than me, and it just wouldn't have been in his comfort zone to go out or speed date or
Yeah,
date at a
yeah,
bar or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But he found just the most beautiful woman
Mm,
through the apps, so
yeah.
it's possible.
So fast forward, they're best friends and partners now for 13 years.
Amazing.
And he can't remember the last time they had a disagreement. So they're very well matched. And she's the love of his life, and all of his dreams came true, basically. He had his son visit him a few weeks ago and told him that they seemed like two teenagers still in love. So
Still in love,
it's a
13 years
beautiful
later.
story.
That is such a beautiful story. It's really nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing as well, Dave.
Yeah, thank
And
you,
Lisa.
Dave and Lisa, for would have had you on as a guest, but you live a little bit far away in Bendigo, so we'll come and visit at some stage. But yeah, it was really nice to have their story alongside ours because ours is a newer story.
Yeah.
And I think the success and longevity in their relationship really speaks to the potential of dating apps.
Yeah.
And I mean, so far, so good for me. It's been an incredible match. Just the spirituality element, the fact that we're both professionals. We have a very similar lifestyle. We're interested in health and fitness, personal growth. Yeah, we do the same stuff. Like, it's really strange. Like, we wake up in the morning, the first thing we both want to do is meditate. And yeah, it's just been a really good fit. And I put that down to you know, partly to the app. So I would have never met you otherwise. Like, you live in the west side of the city, I'm on the east side. It would have been very unlikely that we would come across each other, I think. But you think differently, right? You think we would have met in a different way, potentially.
Maybe. I'm not. But yeah, no, I feel like, the universe puts things in front of you when you're ready for it. And you were ready, I was ready. And
You are.
when we let go, I mean, I completely let go of my expectations of, having a partner at what time, like having control over the situation, and just completely embraced myself. And yeah, it was from then that it happened. After, many years of struggle and after many years of holding on, of having expectations, time, when I'm going to meet someone, control over the situation, when you have really no control.
Yeah, when you let go, great things happen.
Better than you expect, actually. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Holding
there's
on and
a bigger
trying to
plan.
grasp at things.
Yeah, there's a bigger plan out there.
Yeah, I think letting go and embracing that bigger plan
Yeah,
is a great way to live. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So that probably wraps up our episode for today. I think we're going to talk about conflict next episode,
Yeah,
which is interesting.
yeah,
Is that okay with you? Yeah.
yeah, we can.
I think it's important. I mean, Dave said they don't have a disagreement. They must manage it very well. I think most couples, healthy couples, would have disagreements regularly and understanding how the other person processes, conflict.
Yeah.
It can be really important. So yeah, we'll have a bit more to say on that next week.
Yeah.
Until then, we appreciate everybody who's been watching, and we're feeling a lot of love from the listeners. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and we love you back. Thank you so much.
See you next week.
See you soon.